If you only ever do 3 exercises for your chest, these are the ones that will build the most size, strength, and shape. Let's start by rethinking how most people approach chest training. A big chest isn't built by chasing a pump or rushing through endless sets. It's built by progressively loading the chest through large, controlled ranges of motion while keeping the shoulders stable and the tension exactly where it belongs. This requires compound movements performed with proper angles, clean technique, and clear intention behind every repetition. When these elements are missing, the shoulders and arms take over, and chest growth stalls no matter how hard you train. The first exercise you need is a horizontal pressing movement, and this is the foundation of overall chest size. Horizontal pressing primarily targets the mid and lower portions of the chest, which are responsible for pushing the arms straight out in front of the body. These fibers make up the majority of the chest's mass and contribute to that thick, powerful look across the front of the torso. Without a strong horizontal press, the chest will always lack depth and density. To perform this movement correctly, your setup is as important as the press itself. Your shoulder blades should be pulled back and slightly down to create a stable and secure base. This position allows the chest to work through a longer range of motion while protecting the shoulders from unnecessary strain. Your chest should be lifted to open up the rib cage, but it shouldn't be excessively arched. Too much arching shortens the range of motion for the chest and shifts stress onto the lower back. The goal is a balanced position that favors chest involvement without sacrificing stability. As you lower the weight, your elbows should travel at a natural angle, slightly away from your body but never flared out aggressively to the sides. Excessive flaring places the shoulders at a vulnerable position and reduces chest activation. On the other hand, tucking the elbows too close to the torso turns the movement into a triceps dominant press. The correct elbow path allows the chest to stretch under control at the bottom while maintaining tension throughout the entire range of motion. When you press the weight back up, the focus shouldn't be on simply pushing the load away from you. Instead, think about bringing your arms together and squeezing your chest as you press. This mental cue keeps the tension in the chest rather than transferring it to the shoulders and arms. Executed correctly, this exercise sets the foundation for all chest development and determines how effective the rest of your chest training will be. The second exercise is an incline pressing movement, and this is where most people fail to fully develop their chest. The upper chest fibers run at an upward angle towards the collarbone, which means they're best trained when the arms move upward and inward. Flat pressing alone doesn't place these fibers in their strongest line of pull, which is why so many lifters have underdeveloped chests despite strong bench press numbers. The angle of the bench is a critical factor in how effective this movement will be, especially when the goal is to target the upper chest. A slight incline is all that's needed to shift the emphasis onto the upper chest fibers and place them in a mechanically strong position. This subtle adjustment changes the line of force just enough to involve the upper chest without compromising joint comfort. If the incline is too steep, the exercise quickly turns into a shoulder-dominant movement. The front delts begin to take over, pressing mechanics change, and the upper chest becomes secondary rather than the prime mover. Not only does this reduce chest activation, but it also increases unnecessary stress on the shoulders, which can lead to irritation over time. On the other hand, if the bench is completely flat, the upper chest never receives sufficient stimulation. The mid and lower chest fibers do most of the work, and the very area most people struggle to develop remains undertrained. This is why many lifters perform upper chest exercises for years without seeing visible improvement. Your setup for the incline press should closely mirror the horizontal press. Your shoulder blades should remain pulled back and down, your chest lifted, and your core engaged to maintain stability. As you lower the weight, you should allow a controlled stretch through the upper chest while maintaining tension and control. At the top of the movement, press the weight upward and slightly inward, focusing on finishing the rep with the chest rather than aggressively locking out with the arms. This incline movement is what gives the chest height and fullness near the collarbone. Without it, the chest often appears flat from the side and lacks that full rounded look in the upper portion, regardless of how strong the lifter is on flat pressing movements. The third exercise is the most overlooked of the 3, mainly because it doesn't involve pressing at all. Instead, it focuses on chest stability, control, and stretch, qualities that are essential for long-term strength and balance development, yet often ignored. This movement trains the chest to guide and control the arms through a wide extended range of motion, while reinforcing shoulder stability under load. Most people approach chest training with a single goal in mind: pushing more weight. And while pressing strength is important, relying on it alone leaves a major gap in chest function. Over time, that gap shows up as poor control at the bottom of presses, shoulder discomfort, and progress that eventually stalls. The chest isn't just a muscle that pushes weight away from the body, it also brings the arms inward and plays a key role in stabilizing the shoulder joint throughout movement. When this stabilizing function is ignored, certain fibers of the chest never receive meaningful tension. That leads to uneven development and increases the risk of injury, especially as loads get heavier. This exercise addresses that problem by placing the chest under tension in a lengthened position, which is one of the most effective stimuli for muscle growth when performed correctly and under control. Execution is everything here. The movement should be slow, deliberate, and intentional. Allow the chest to fully stretch at the widest point, then actively pull the arms back together using the chest muscles, not momentum. Swinging the weight or rushing through the steps completely defeats the purpose. The goal isn't to move the heaviest load possible, but to maintain constant tension and control through the entire range of motion, reinforcing strength, stability, and muscle growth where it matters most. This movement also plays a crucial role in improving the mind-muscle connection. Many people struggle to feel their chest working during pressing exercises because their shoulders and triceps dominate the movement. By training the chest through a controlled stretch and contraction, this exercise teaches you how to engage the chest properly and carry that awareness into your pressing movements. Now everything comes together, and the full structure of effective chest training finally makes sense. Once you understand how the chest is built and how it functions, the confusion disappears, and your training becomes focused and intentional instead of random. If you only ever do 3 exercises for your chest, there should be 1 horizontal pressing movement to build overall mass, 1 incline pressing movement to develop the upper chest and create shape, and 1 chest stability and stretch movement to keep the shoulders healthy while fully developing the muscle through its complete range of motion. These 3 movements cover every major function of the chest and leave no gaps in development. This is the core system, and everything else you see in chest training is secondary to it. These exercises allow you to train the chest heavy, safely, and effectively, while respecting the different fiber directions and roles of the muscle. When these 3 are performed with proper technique and progressive overload, the chest has no reason not to grow. Once these movements are firmly in place, you can add optional isolation work if your recovery allows it. Fly variations, cable movements, or dumbbell exercises can be used toward the end of the workout to increase time under tension and add detail to the muscle. These exercises help refine the chest, improve mind-muscle connection, and address smaller weaknesses, but they should never replace or distract from the main lifts that actually drive growth. A complete chest workout should always begin with the exercise that allows you to use the most load while maintaining control. This is followed by the incline movement, which shifts emphasis to the upper chest and adds balance to your development. The workout should then finish with the stability and stretch movement, which reinforces control, shoulder health, and full range strength. This sequence ensures that you train with maximum strength when you're fresh, while still addressing shape, balance, and longevity. When you train this way consistently, your focus naturally shifts from chasing a pump or copying random routines to mastering movement quality and progression. You stop worrying about how many exercises you're doing and start caring about how well you're doing the right ones. Over time, this approach builds a chest that is not only bigger, but stronger, more balanced, and more resilient. Train with control before weight, respect recovery, and trust the process instead of chasing novelty. When you commit to this system, your chest stops being a weak point and becomes one of your strongest features, both visually and functionally. If you build your chest around these 3 exercises and apply them with intention, you'll never need another chest training routine again.